Hey everyone, we are here today with CJ Peterson of Diversegy. This will be the first installment in our American Duty webinar series. Remembering that throughout this time, it is our American duty to make sure that we are still spending money, we're still making sales, and we are still participating in the economy. We don't want to see a fallacy of consumption, we want to see growth. So Diversegy is still open for business. There are energy advisors helping people cut costs on all types of energy. So first, let's start with this. What is Diversegy and what do you do?
So Diversegy is a wholly owned subsidiary of Genie Energy. So first and foremost, we're part of a publicly traded New York Stock Exchange company. In a time period of like this, when there's all kinds of things happening in the world, appreciate that security and knowing we're not going anywhere. So we're energy advisors and really from a holistic energy approach. So we look at how can we assist customers in either being more efficient, reducing their consumption, but ultimately it all points back to how do we help reduce the bottom line?
Yeah, yeah. So now let's change this frame up a little bit, because a lot of people think electricity goes in, I use electricity, it's over. Why do I need an electricity advisor?
I mean, there's so many different ways. I mean, here we're in New Jersey, so we fortunately have the opportunity to choose who our providers are for both power and gas. There's a lot of states out there, the majority of states who don't get that choice to control one of their key operating costs.
Yeah,
And essentially, Eric, what we do each and every day is we're actively watching the markets in terms of okay, what are good times and not so good times to be buying, but then also looking at, well, what are the regulatory changes that are happening in the marketplace that can potentially impact our clients or that you have to be mindful of as you're structuring out, maybe a purchasing strategy in terms of how you're going to actively manage your energy costs, especially for your larger industrial users.
yeah,
So, for the small business owner, it allows them to stay focused on their business at hand and know that they have a trusted resource if stuff hits the fan to call and go, hey, what the heck? Or hey, I just saw some charges on my bill that I may or may not understand, and I don't have to go to Google. I don't have to spend hours figuring that out. I can put in a phone call, come back and say, hey, can you give me a top line report by end of week, and just walk me through that. I was just on one of those phone calls yesterday.
yeah. And it really, people shouldn't be changing. Well, I guess you could change the oil in your car now, but you shouldn't be walking in and doing heavy work on your car. You should really be calling experts on that. And it's a similar thing when it comes to energy. You should have an advisor. So
I,
so
and
what?
that's how I
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, I have an advisor for everything, right? And that's the focus because I want to stay in my lane, what I'm good at, and leverage the skill set and the core competencies of other people.
Yeah, exactly. So what is so different, or the biggest difference in the energy market today versus a year ago? Let's even talk about what coronavirus has done. What's the big difference?
I mean, coronavirus has pretty much taken something and just moved, the market as it was already and pushed it completely off the ledge.
Mhm.
Coming out of the winter, we've had this robust period where we've had excess supply, tremendous amounts of supply coming into the market. Again, we came off a winter that didn't have that much demand. We had a relatively a mild winter, right? And so we were already trending down. And then you throw this coronavirus COVID on it, and it literally falls off the cliff because now all consumption, all demand virtually evaporates over nighttime. And you still have this massive glut. So from a basic supply and demand conversation, huge supply, low demand, naturally driving prices down.
Yeah, exactly. So why should people be acting right now? And I know you just touched on it a little bit. Why should people be acting right now and taking a look at their electricity bills? Why is now the best time?
Yeah, so I like to think of people in different segments in their business. You have some people who are right now are like, okay, I'm over the top, focused on what I'm doing. Okay, great. Send over a couple invoices. Let someone else do the due diligence legwork to look at, are there some immediate cost cutting opportunities based on the market timing at hand? So that's someone who says, okay, maybe I have an opportunity right now. Don't know how much, but I can at least evaluate it.
Mm.
There's another set of individuals who look and go, okay, I'm handling the business. I'm going to be able to weather the storm and look forward. And those individuals, it's a little bit more advantageous from a strategic planning standpoint. You know, if I know that I'm at a bottom of a tranche and I can hedge or put in some protection and grab some low pricing that inevitably is going to be coming back up, well, that's going to keep my operational costs lower on a forward standpoint. So when I can then look at future strips and put in some protections that may protect me not only now, but then all of a sudden 21, 22, 23, 24, and taking one of these fundamental operating costs but grab the timing while you can. It's just like, hey, if I could go out and buy gasoline right now for my vehicles for the next 5 years, would I do it? Well, of course, that's an of course statement. Same thing with our business.
Yeah, absolutely. So if how does Diversegy deliver twice as much value as everybody else? You know, how do you guys set yourself apart from the competition?
I mean, several things. First and foremost, there's no out-of-pocket cost for someone to be able to come over, get an analysis, look at, hey, are there some potential headroom savings? What opportunities are there? You know, as an energy advisor, we're not attached specifically to an energy company. So we have over 35 relationships across the country with energy suppliers where we can bring in that information. You know, multiple bids, proposals, look at different contract language based on what someone wants to accomplish. Maybe they have a sustainability initiative, you know, beyond the cost cutting component that we want to look at. Maybe they're looking at, hey, should we add solar to our energy makeup, either on site or off site opportunities. Maybe we have a huge facility where we can do some demand response and some energy curtailment. Otherwise, you know, and that's the other thing is maybe I'm doing some energy efficiency projects at my facility. And so there's a completely different procurement and product structure that I should be looking at and putting myself into where I'm going to get the most bang for my buck than, you know, just your traditional fixed set it and forget it kind of approach.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so I want to jump into that, what you said, sustainability. That is such a key buzzword right now. How do you guys help companies fulfill their sustainability initiatives?
You know, first and foremost for us, because we're advisors, I need to understand what that company is looking to accomplish. What's their plan? Do they have it as part of a capital expenditure plan where there's some potential from an investing in resources, or is it okay? We don't want to have any out of pocket expenses, but we'd love to be more green in our purchasing strategies. If so.
Yeah, absolutely. So why should people go to CJ? Why not go to anybody else? What is it about you that makes you tick about energy?
Yeah, I mean, number one, as you've probably known, you know, through our conversations, or you spend a little more time, the space is noisy. The
Yeah,
space is really noisy, right? It's a commodity, and with that being said, you know, if you think about the mortgage industry, there's a whole bunch of characters, some better, some worse, that can be around. The biggest thing that with Diversegy, and this is why our relationship with the chamber and being the energy affinity partner there is we're owned by Genie Energy, publicly traded, New York Stock Exchange. There's just a higher level of standards and requirements that come under that microscope. And so from we, because of that information, also we have sometimes some intel. You know, we have, I almost like to think we're able to be so much more than just a number. We're able to actively advise. We're able to look forward in terms of, you know, have conversations in battery storage. Does it make sense? Should we spend any cycles on it? Solar, does it make sense? Should we spend any cycles on it? Because and primarily beyond making sure you're in the right contract, making sure you're on the right procurement strategies, be able to almost be that buffer for your time standpoint and a sounding board and wise counsel in terms of what should I be doing today? What conversations should I be having? what should I be thinking forward to in terms of my energy management for my building? Because some strategies are appropriate and some aren't based on the size and what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, but now let's talk more personally about you.
Yeah.
Why do you love energy? Why do you do all of it?
I love the business owner. I mean, I grew up in traditional business. I grew
Okay.
up with my parents owning Dairy Queens, right? I know what it's like working 80 hours a week, and having and the business being your life. And so when I can come in and assist that individual business owner, whether it's one facility, multiple facilities, in reducing some operating costs, reducing some headaches on that component, and essentially be in-house energy counsel, without being on the payroll, that's exciting to me. That's where I get value. And then to be able to create the relationship. I mean, my clients are our friends, are long-time relationships where we can joke, and where I'm able to, during times like this, just make calls and be like, hey, how's business for you? And we're having a conversation. And what's going on in your world, and how can I assist from a general business standpoint, not just an energy component.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say a company is interested. They want to move forward. What is the actually, you know what? No. Let's take a step back. Let's say a company isn't interested.
Yep.
So what do you say to them to say you should care?
Number one, it's finding out why they're not interested, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm too busy, or I have an agreement in place for the next couple of years. Doesn't make sense to look at it. Hey, great. Or maybe it's I currently work with someone who happens to be a family member, and I don't want to break apart the relationship. Fantastic, I get it. No worries. And in those cases, I put on the non-bias hat and say, and your business is your number one priority. Isn't it most important to make sure that you're running the most effective, efficient, streamlined operation you can for your business? So why don't we just run beside or parallel, or just do a quick check on the background in seeing, do you have the best counsel, representation, and price for your business at hand? Or is there another option out there? For the person who says they're in an agreement, okay, great. What you may not know is you can actually look forward several years and grab position in opportune times and take it off the table. Take the risk off the table. So from a budget certainty standpoint, from a planning standpoint, from grabbing potential savings in the future, we have that happen all the time with large industrial clients who are looking a year, 2 years out from where their current agreement expires. And then the last piece is the person who says, I'm just too busy. It's like, yes, understood. And if we can help you reduce your operating costs by several thousands of dollars a year on something you're overspending that you have no insight to, but you just automatically pay the bill, would that be of value at no cost to you? And where you can probably put me in touch with someone in your AP department or your controller, I can get all the information needed, come back with an executive level summary telling you what potential risks or exposure you may be facing that you might not even know, what potential savings there is immediately, and what should we be thinking about going forward to make sure we're on top of this.
Absolutely. Okay, so now I'm like, all right, you know what? It's not going to take too much of my time. I'm in. So what's the first step that a company would have to do?
The quick and dirty of it that really allows us to do the due diligence first and foremost are just a couple of utility invoices, on both power and gas. I never want to promise someone, hey, we're going to get all these great savings for you, because I don't even know where you're currently at in the marketplace. So first and foremost, let's set the flag in terms of your current position. How we do that, we get a couple utility invoices. It allows us to do a complete analysis, and then also determine where you're at. Are you in the money? Are you out of the money? Are there some potential savings where then we can come back with some recommendations? And then based on those recommendations, we have a conversation. What makes the most sense for your business at this given time? And the beautiful thing about the whole process, no cost to you, no commitment. We stand by the work, and at the end of the day, if you like what we've presented, then it's at that point, then we're able to move into an execution, of energy supply, which the beautiful thing is you're not paying our management, our consulting fee. That's handled on the back end with suppliers. So when we're coming and presenting, it's all in, no out of pocket costs whatsoever to you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I think a lot of people, they put up their shields probably because they're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much time, this is gonna be so much money, I don't know what to do. And so I guess one objection, because we've been doing this for a little while, one objection is that people don't understand how it works. And I've had people tell me when I tell them about the program, what if my power just stops working? Is there any way that for some reason there just won't be electrons in the wire? There's no way.
I mean, and this is where just at a basic level, you have this regulated component, right? Your delivery, which is a PSEG and Atlantic City, JCP&L. That's your regulated. They manage the poles and wires. They stay in place. And then you have your supply side, right? And that's the portion that we're impacting. So storm hits, power goes out. PSENG is still managing your poles, wires, taking care of all that. You don't get put at the bottom of the queue in terms of getting your power turned on
Yeah.
if all of a sudden you shift away or anything like that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. So now, after you've given them the executive summary, they say yes. Is there anything else that needs to be done?
From there, it's simple because we've identified, think of it like the lending tree model and just in terms of the procurement component, right? So we're coming through, we're bringing recommendations to several different suppliers, identifying, sometimes it's lowest price, sometimes it's contract language, sometimes it's any number of things that chooses the right supplier for the right customer. And then from there, we're simply executing an agreement with that supplier. More times than not, it's simply just a name change on their bill. Their billing stays the same as what they're currently receiving. It's just at that negotiated contracted rate that's on the agreement.
Yeah, absolutely. So that concludes my prepared questions. Are there any other things that you would like to cover?
Let's not make it more difficult than what it is. This is a great time in the busyness to just step back and look and say, is my business running at the most effective rate? Or are there some opportunities for cost cutting without killing my headcount?
Yeah.
Without killing the true assets of my business in the personnel, right? So whether you have a deep knowledge of it or just a little bit, or you have someone in charge of it, let's just run an analysis, because the very worst thing that can come of it, Eric, is we come back and go, wow, you guys are in phenomenal position. Whoever's doing it, great job. And no, that having that knowledge by itself is valuable, because in this time-based commodity, you can then check the box that says, okay, I'm running efficient here. I don't have to revisit this. Now I can focus my time and energy on revenue creation, on business expansion, because I've closed those gaps down.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree with that, because there is a lot of certainty on price checking. And I just want to share a quick story about that. When I was buying my car, I got this car salesman who was totally incompetent, and he was, throwing me this price that I was like, is that really as low as they'll go? And you know how car dealers are, you have no clue. So then I was getting my hair cut, and it just turns out that my barber cuts the hair of the finance manager at another Honda. And so then I got referred over to him. I drove an hour down there to buy the car from this guy, and then and the integrity of this man was awesome. He said, look, I ran those numbers in my computer, and I can't beat that price. You should go back and just go buy that car. And he showed me the computer, full transparency, and said, so even if people can't get their energy through you guys, at least they know that they're doing the best that they could possibly do. And that peace of mind was like so valuable to me. And I might even go to him to buy my car next time because of how well he treated me. So I just wanted to add that story in there. So thank you for
only other thing I would add is we get the question, and I say this knowing the audience that the tremendous difference Gateway makes, and that we have businesses literally all shapes and sizes in it. Diversegy, because of our DNA, our makeup. I mean, I come from small business, but at the same time, we serve both public and private entities all across the country. Is if you look and you go, you know what? They probably aren't interested in me. I'm just too small, or I'm just a single storefront. Give yourself that opportunity. You deserve that same treatment as the Fortune 1000 company.
Yeah.
Or at least the same energy, the same information and intel to make educated buying decisions. And that's the other answer that we like to be, is to make sure this small and mid-sized group of individuals are equipped with the same education as though they had an internal energy person on staff, which we also work with. We're with plenty of those people as well. But it's a different conversation, right? So I think that's the other key, is if the person's too busy or says, I'm just too small, the question becomes is if we can add an extra $500,000 savings or peace of mind or budget certainty to your business equation, would that make a difference? And if so, awesome. Let's get in touch.
Yeah. So if people want to reach out to you, how should they do that?
Diversegy.com, which hopefully we can have a link and everything to either
we'll take care of that.
Phone number, right? Normally I just forward everything to my cell phone. So I will give my office line.
Cool.
It's 973-438-2305. There's probably one, but I'm going to do this anyway. And you'll be able to see my chicken scratch. 973-438-2305. CJ Energy. So then all of a sudden someone goes, what the heck? There's my, there's my quick chicken scratch, left-handed, watch out. Phone calls are great, because then we can dialogue through and we're on the same team and working through. Diversegy, it's DIVERSEGY.com. Email cpeterson@Diversegy. And I'm an SON. I'm a son, so PETERSON. But hopefully we can just link at the bottom.
We'll link all of that. So thank you for joining us for our installment of the American Duty webinar series. Like I said, to finish it off, it is our American duty right now to keep on purchasing, to keep on getting out into the economy. As soon as we get the green light, we cannot give in to the fallacy of consumption, and we got to keep moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thanks for everything you guys are doing, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.